Tonight, if you see something strange in the sky, you're going to reach for your phone. You'll zoom in, record it, search it, and within minutes, someone will probably explain it. A plane, a satellite, a drone, a trick of light. But for almost all of human history, that answer never came. No cameras, no telescopes, no scientists, no words for planets, comets, or aircraft. Just a fire on the ground, a black sky above, and something moving where nothing should move. For over 300,000 years, ancient humans watched the heavens with fear and awe. And they didn't just forget what they saw. They painted strange beings on cave walls. They built monuments toward the stars. They told stories of visitors from above. So what were they seeing? Were ancient humans contacted by aliens? Or did the sky become a mirror for the human mind? Let's start with the sky. Because before aliens, before gods, before temples, there was only that. The sky was the first impossible thing humans ever studied. It moved every night. It changed shape. It swallowed the sun. It threw lightning into trees. It sent burning lights across the darkness. And ancient humans had no explanation for any of it. No astronomy, no telescopes, no satellites, no word for planet, no word for meteor. Just eyes staring upward, trying to survive. But the sky didn't just scare people, it trained them. The moon told them time was passing. The stars told them seasons were coming. The sun told them when the world would turn cold again. For ancient humans, the sky was not background. It was warning. It was memory. It was power. And when something above you controls your life, eventually you stop seeing it as empty. You start wondering if something is up there, watching. The sky created the first pattern humans could trust. Every night, the stars returned. Every month, the moon changed. Every year, the same lights came back in the same places. Inside that pattern, humans found safety. Outside that pattern, everything was chaos. This is not poetic. This was survival. If you knew when the cold was coming, you lived. If you knew when animals migrated, you ate. If you knew when the rains might return, your group had a chance. But here's what's fascinating. The sky didn't just help ancient humans survive. It gave them something they had never had before: prediction. Think about this. Before writing, before clocks, before calendars, the sky was the only thing that seemed to remember. It remembered seasons. It remembered time. It remembered direction. And to a human brain trying to survive, that kind of order did not feel random. It felt intentional, like something above them knew what was coming. And once the sky felt intentional, it was only a matter of time before humans started asking who was behind it. But over thousands of generations, those patterns changed our species. Humans did not just watch the sky, they started telling stories about it. At first, the sky was practical. Which way is north? When will the cold return? When will the animals move? Which stars mean the season is changing? Skywatching was survival. But at night, around the fire, survival turned into imagination. Someone pointed upward and asked what the lights were. Someone else remembered a strange object moving across the dark. An elder told a story about beings above the clouds. A child listened, and the story stayed. This is where the sky became more than a calendar. It became theater, the first screen, the first mystery, the first place humans projected fear, hope, gods, and impossible visitors. Anthropologists have long argued that storytelling helped early humans pass knowledge, bond groups, and imagine worlds beyond the present. But around the fire, under a sky no one understood, those stories became something bigger. A light in the sky was no longer just a light. It became a sign, a warning, a visitor, a message from somewhere humans could not reach. This may be where the first alien story was born, not from science fiction, not from telescopes, but from ancient people staring upward, trying to explain why the heavens looked alive. But the night was not just about stories. There was something else happening, something modern humans rarely experience anymore. Ancient humans spent long hours awake in darkness, not scrolling, not working, not distracted by screens, just sitting beside firelight, half tired, half awake, staring into shadows and stars. And the human mind changes in that state. Fear becomes sharper, imagination becomes stronger, dreams feel closer to waking life, shapes in the dark start to feel alive. Cognitive archaeologist David Lewis Williams argued that some ancient cave art may be connected to altered states of consciousness: trance, ritual, hunger, rhythm, darkness, the brain under pressure. And this matters because ancient humans were not only looking at the sky with clear, modern eyes, they were looking at it through exhaustion, fear, belief, and dreamlike states. A strange light in the sky was not just a strange light. It could become a message, a warning, a being, a visitor. This was not stupidity. This was the ancient mind trying to survive mystery. When you live in darkness long enough, the line between dream and world becomes thinner. And maybe some of the first stories of contact were born there, not in the daylight, but in that strange middle space between sleep, fear, fire, and the stars. And what did people do with those strange moments under the sky? They remembered them. They talked about them while the fire was still burning. They asked the elders what the light meant. They turned dreams into warnings. They turned shadows into spirits. They turned strange shapes in the heavens into beings with purpose. A child would hear the story once, then again, until it stopped feeling like a story. It became memory. It became belief. It became something the whole group carried. This is how a strange light could become a visitor, how a dream could become a message, how the sky could become a place where powerful beings lived. The quiet hours of the ancient night did not just create fear, they created meaning. Now, people had been reading ancient sky stories for centuries, but they kept treating them as simple myths, primitive imagination, old superstition, people with no science making things up because they did not know better. But modern psychology shows something stranger. The ancient mind may have been doing exactly what it was designed to do. Cognitive scientists call it agency detection, the brain's habit of seeing intention behind movement, a rustle in the grass, a shadow near the trees, a sound outside the fire. If you assumed it was nothing and you were wrong, you died. If you assumed it was something and you were wrong, you survived. So the human brain became extremely sensitive to presence. It looked for minds, for watchers, for hidden causes, for something behind the thing. Psychologist Michael Shermer called this pattern seeking one of the reasons humans believe impossible things. But in the ancient world, it was not foolish. It was protection. And now place that same brain under the night sky. A meteor burns across the dark. A comet appears for weeks. An eclipse swallows the sun. A strange light moves without sound. The ancient brain does what it always did. It asks, who is there? Not what is that? Who? That one word changes everything. Because once the sky feels like someone, the story has already begun. The visitor does not need to land. The mind has already opened the door. So what killed that ancient relationship? The answer is simple: explanations. First came astronomy, then telescopes, then satellites, then cameras, then the internet. One by one, the sky became less mysterious. A strange light became a planet. A burning trail became a meteor. An eclipse became shadow. A moving object became aircraft. The heavens, which had once been terrifying and alive, slowly became technical, measured, mapped, explained. But something was lost, because for 300,000 years, humans looked up and felt the universe staring back. Now we look up and check an app. And here's the part people forget. The ancient sky was not peaceful. It was dangerous. A storm could destroy shelter. Lightning could split trees open. A drought could starve the group. An eclipse could make the sun disappear in the middle of the day. A comet could hang in the sky for weeks like a warning nobody could read. Today, we call these natural events. But ancient humans did not have that comfort. To them, the sky was not just beautiful. It was unpredictable. It was powerful. It could give life and it could take it away. So when stories appeared about beings coming from above, they were not random. They came from fear. The sky already felt alive. The sky already felt like it had moods. And if something that powerful seemed alive, then maybe something was living there. Maybe watching. Maybe waiting. Maybe trying to speak. But here's what we lost. Modern humans explain the sky almost instantly. A strange light becomes a satellite. A burning trail becomes a meteor. A dark circle over the sun becomes an eclipse. A bright object on the horizon becomes Venus. Your brain does not sit with the mystery anymore. It solves it. It labels it. It moves on. But ancient humans could not do that. When they saw something strange above them, the question stayed open. For hours, for days, for generations. A comet was not just ice and dust. It was a warning. An eclipse was not just shadow. It was the sun being taken. A strange moving light was not just an object. It was a presence. And when a mystery stays open long enough, humans start building stories around it. That is how sky gods are born. That is how visitors become memory. That is how a strange light turns into a being from above. We think explanations made us smarter, and they did. But they also changed our relationship with wonder. We no longer live under the sky the way our ancestors did. We live under information. And maybe that is why ancient alien stories still grip us. Because somewhere inside the modern mind, something misses the old mystery. Something misses looking up and not knowing. So what if these stories are not only about aliens? What if they're about a part of the human brain that still wants the universe to feel alive? What if ancient contact was not just something that happened in the sky? What if it happened inside the human need to believe something was looking back? For 300,000 years, your ancestors lived under a sky modern humans can barely imagine. They watched strange lights move through darkness. They turned fear into stories. They carved beings into stone. They built monuments toward stars they could never touch. And even now, with all our science, we still look up and wonder if something is looking back.